a requirement for my cannabis, I guess, prescription or permission, whatever that is, right? Why did it cost the state Medicaid system $273?
Each provider is allowed to bill an amount. It does not mean they get paid that, but they're allowed to bill it.
Oh no. No, I have the documentation here. Right? It says they charged $128 for a $14 UA and $145 for an office visit that consisted of him spending more time denying me my service than anything else, and then his verbal command over the phone, basically, to use a hot washcloth for an abscess on my breast. And I'm not finding this to be medical care. I'm finding it just fraud, waste, and abuse at the end of the day.
Well, your question was, why are they allowed to bill that amount? That is, they can bill whatever they want.
I get that part, and it says to me that it's not a bill, but this went to the state Medicaid program, so therefore it is a bill. And generally what happens with them, once you bill them, they just pay.
No, they will not pay that. There's allowable amounts for every procedure, such as that office visit. Although they may have billed $145, they'll probably only be paid about $30 or $40 for it. They're paid off of an allowable, not what is billed.
Wow.
So DSHS will not be paying that amount, I can assure you.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I felt like I was being held captive in the whole situation because I only went up there, you know, because of an infection I had, and I had been there the month before and saw my regular, normal doctor. Then all of a sudden, the medical changed. I got this new guy, and he basically was holding me hostage because the only thing I was going up there for, right, was this prescription permission thing for the cannabis. Because I don't need anything else. Right? Okay. I mean, so $273 in total, you know, and then ultimately his recommendation, I went and found me some homeopaths on the internet, and I took care of this. Apparently it was antibiotic, you know, resistant, and whatever they were giving. I'm not getting the care that you guys are actually paying for.
Okay, and when you say are you guys, we are...
I mean, John Q. Citizen, the public, the taxes, the money that funds into Medicaid. And as the insurance commissioner, people should be aware of how this is directly affecting me. And I do feel like I'm being held hostage to have to do this UA. This is the only thing. He billed $128 for a $14 UA.
Okay, and he's allowed to do that. They can bill anything they want. As I've said, they do not get paid that. They can bill anything that they want.
Well, don't you think that this is just an exorbitant waste of time then? Why are we messing around with the middleman, aka the insurance company, at all? Because I could have shopped around for the lab service and a different doctor that certainly would have liked, you know, $30 in his hand right now as opposed to 90 days down the road.
This is the medical system that you're dealing with, unfortunately, I guess, for you, but this is the way it works. You bill based off of CPT codes, meaning procedure codes.
Mm-hmm.
The receiving party, DSHS, receives that and only pays out their contractual rate for the CPT code or procedure. So
you needed a third party to bill the state for the state services. That's what you're telling me.
A third party meaning the physician's office? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the University of Washington is not only state but federally funded as well. So again, we're back into the taxpayer's pocket at the second, third. I mean, how many bites at the apple do we get in me peeing in a cup? I just want to know.
Well, I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
UFW is a provider. They provided a service. They billed DSHS, and DSHS will pay them.
No, the UW didn't do it. United Healthcare did, the people you contracted with for the state of Washington's Medicaid. See, I got funneled into it and didn't get asked whether I wanted in it or not. In fact, I got a phone call in which I was hung up on. I said I didn't want to participate. I was abstaining in the first place. I don't want to contribute to their monopoly. Do you get that part?
No, I'm not really getting.
Well, you're paying all these extra people to run this billing around, when in fact, if I went directly to the doctor and the lab, right, we could have settled all this for about $45 versus $273, which is an allowable billable amount. And you have to understand, I get ICD-9 and CPT codes. I graduated. I know what you're doing. I get what's being done. This is fraud.
No, it's not fraud. It's normal, run-of-the-mill billing practices, and it is not fraud in any way. You may not like the system, but it certainly is not fraud.
But don't you think it's an extraordinary waste of time to spend 90 days tracking down something that ultimately will only net you $45 in the end anyway?
That is between the provider of services and who they've contracted with to pay them, such as i.e. DSHS or United Healthcare.
Okay. Well, then you've heard it, doctors. You get what I'm saying now, right? I could have put this $45 in that man's hand then, instead of him having to wait 90 days down the road. And in the meantime, how many other people got their finger in this pie, aka the insurance industry?
I don't know what you want to hear.
Well, hon, what I'm trying to get you to understand at my level, right? First of all, I feel like I'm being blackmailed for this UA in the first place. I'm being forced to go to a physician.
Well, you are part of the system. You've enrolled in United Health.
I did not volunteer to enroll in any of this. You need to be really clear about that. I never opted in. I didn't sign anything. Nobody asked me anything. And what I heard about it later on was after it had already been done.
Well, that's between you and United then, or you and DSHS, whoever you have your medical coverage through.
Well, this is the Washington State Insurance Commissioner's Office. Am I not correct?
No, it is not.
Okay. But you're an entity working through or for them?
No, I'm not working. We're volunteers that help people with their insurance questions.
Okay, but I never opted into this.
Well, I would suggest that you call United and opt out if you don't like it.
Listen to me. At the end of the day, this is what's happening. John Q. Citizen is putting out all these dollars because I'm disabled and under these conditions I qualify for the state Medicaid. The fact that it's being abused in this way and supporting a system that forces it to take 90 days to pay the man $45 I could have paid him on the spot is redundantly ridiculous. And it is doing more harm than good.
That is well and good, and that may be a very factual statement, but it is the way it is. If you want to change the system, possibly you should work through your state representative.
Okay.
Because there's certainly no power at this level to change an existing system.
We are the people. We have the power. You get that part, right? Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
Then contact your state representative and see what he can do about this.
Yeah, I'll find one that isn't bought and paid for first. I had to go there. I'm sorry. It's just so obvious that this just really is just more layers of unnecessary contraption. It's a cacophony of things that are going on all at the same time. And I'm the one at the bottom, the meekest among you, right? The least, with the least to do, right? The least to do in this situation other than accept your services because I really don't have a choice. And I'm not being given a choice of any kind.
And you can terminate with the DSHS, you can terminate with United Healthcare, and then pay cash on the barrelhead.
Okay, I could do that, and then, when I don't have that little piece of paper, because there's no doctor out here that's going to take $45, right? It's not going to happen. So when law enforcement shows up and I don't have a current piece of paper, then I get to go to jail. How's that working for more victimization of your Medicaid patients?
Where you're going, you're creating some scenario.
No. This is exactly what you're doing. This is exactly what's happening. It's helping to enforce this. It really is.
Well,
You're forcing.
you want to change why your state representative then.
All right, hon. All righty then. I appreciate your help, and thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I could change. Find me a doctor and a lab that are collectively right now going to take $45 because my state is going to hold me at bay under the terms of the law enforcement agreements we have, right? That if I don't have this piece of paper, I don't get to medicate in the way that I so choose. That is blackmail. And you're failing to comprehend the full breadth of this. My local representatives, the forces that were behind putting liquor in the Costco are the same people that are in charge of this as well. What chance do I stand at this point except to do exactly what I've been doing, which is withdrawing from your system? I'd rather take my chances and go into jail than me having to continue to endure useless medical care services that prove nothing. Do you see what you're doing now? Their allowable billable amount. Really? And then we spend 90 days wasting time tracking down that the state only contracted for this much and this is all you're going to get. But it took you 90 days just to get that. Do you get my point of view here? And if it weren't for the cannabis, I wouldn't need your Medicaid at all. But if I withdraw from the Medicaid, then I lose everything. So again, well, and I have to risk arrest. It doesn't ever seem to twinkle in anybody's brain cells, you know, that I am in the condition I am solely based on Medicaid and their services and the way with which they are rendered and the services that have actually been rendered to me. I never needed a bondsman and a lawyer when I went to see them under that condition, when I would just take whatever little pill you handed me, because I didn't know any better. I thought you did, and I trusted you to do your job. But all you did was destroy my throat and my colon and so much more that I can't even get, because it's just embarrassing to talk about the level of damage that has been done to me through pharma and its use. And you pay for this. And you call it okay. And it's not. It's not okay. Like I said, I didn't need a bondsman and a lawyer when I went to the Walgreens to pick up everything that hurt or harmed me. I don't feel like I need one now. And if you want to challenge me for not having your fucking cannabis permit, for that you can just keep stepping. Because I'm under no obligation to provide you any further, with any assistance in any direction in regards to that issue, period, point blank. This conversation is now over. But the activity will not subside. You will wake up. You will understand. A requirement for my cannabis, I guess, prescription or permission, whatever that is, right? Why did it cost the state Medicaid system $273?
Each provider is allowed to bill an amount. It does not mean they get paid that, but they're allowed to bill it.
Oh no. No, I have the documentation here. Generally what happens with them, once you bill them, they just pay.
They will not pay that. There's allowable amounts for every procedure, such as that office visit. they may have billed 145, they'll probably only be paid about $30 or $40 for it. They're paid off of an allowable, not what is billed.
Wow.
So DSHS will not be paying that amount.
For an abscess on my breast, and I'm not finding this to be medical care. I'm finding it just fraud, waste, and abuse at the end of the day.
Well, your question was why are they allowed to bill that amount? That is, they can bill whatever they want.
I get that part, and it says to me that it's not a bill, but this went to the state Medicaid program, so therefore it is a bill. And
Assure you.
well, I mean, to be honest with you, I felt like I was being held captive in the whole situation because I only went up there, you know, because of an infection I had, and I had been there the month before and saw my regular normal doctor. Then all of a sudden the medical changed. I got this new guy, and he basically was holding me hostage because the only thing I was going up there for, right, was this prescription permission thing, right? It says they charged $128 for a $14 UA and $145 for an office visit that consisted of him spending more time denying me my service than anything else, and then his verbal command over the phone, basically, to use a hot washcloth